Are you someone who will learn and learn and learn and never actually do anything with the information that you have been gathering? Maybe you have been meaning to put some of the things that you have learnt about branding from this podcast into action, but still haven't done it. Well, in this episode, I'm going to give you 10 quick tips that you could do to finally give your brand some love. And they should each take you under 15 to 30 minutes. So if that sounds good, let's dive in. Hello and welcome to Brand Your Passion, the show that helps you turn the thing you love the most into the thing people know and love you for. If you're an artist or maker who is ready to get more eyes on your work, more engagement in your audience, and more creativity in your life, then you're in the right place. I'm your host, Holly Arnett, the brand strategist and coach for creatives, and it's time to brand your passion. Okay, as I said, there are a lot of us who love to learn. I am one of those. One of my brand values is all about learning. I just love to learn. But one of the things that I have tried to teach myself is to be a just-in-time learner. I'm trying to learn things as and when I need them, rather than trying to learn all the things all the time and then never doing anything with them. However, branding is something that, as I know, is really important. We should be learning about it. It's something that as a business owner, we need to be learning, along with many of the other things that we need to be learning. But it's not useful if you're not then actually doing anything with that knowledge, like anything, right? If you're just learning all the things, but then not doing anything about it, it's not really helpful at all. So I want to talk to you today about some actionable things that you can do to actually put what you have learned into action. So to start actually doing some branding, to get some quick wins, to go okay, how can I do something in 15 minutes or 20 minutes or half an hour that will really help my brand, that will take me from this hot mess that I feel like I am, or that maybe I feel like there's things all over the place, or that I'm not doing enough, or that, I don't know where to start, or all of this mental stuff is going on, to okay, I've made progress. I've done something. I've taken action. It's looking better. It's feeling better. I feel better. That's where I want you to be at. So let's dive into these quick, actionable steps to quickly take your brand from hot mess to hell yes. Okay, so number one is design an email signature. This is something that I thought was something that is obvious, or something that I just do all the time because I design email signatures for clients, or I'm just a nerd and I want my email signature to look really good. But I was talking to a creative who I had emailed, and they were like, oh, I saw your email and I didn't even know my email signature could look that good. I didn't even know that that was something I could do. And so I wanted to give that as an option of here's something you can do that's really quick and really easy, and I'm going to tell you how to do it, that will make your brand look good and will just elevate your brand in a really quick and easy way. So the way that I do it is that I use a tool called Scribe. So if you look up a tool called Scribe Mail, and we will link it in the show notes as well. It's free if you are just one person. So it's, when you look at all the marketing, it will say it's great for teams and all of that stuff, because it is. That's what it's designed for, is that if you have multiple people in your team, all of the signatures look incredible and they all match and it's all consistent and all of that. But it's also great if you are just one person and you want a really nice, easy, beautiful email signature. So what you want to do is sign up for free, plug in your information, add in your colors, decide what template you want, pick what, if you want a button to be a call to action so that people can buy your stuff or join your email list or whatever it might be, and then you're done. All you have to do is click whether you use Gmail or Outlook or whatever tool you use. I use a random separate email, so I had to download the code, but even that was really easy. It's so easy. It will take you maximum 15, 30 minutes even. That includes signing up for the new software. It will look professional. It will look like you've put some thought into it. And if you add in a new call to action, that will also get people to like buy your stuff, like I said, or join your email list, download your opt-in, whatever it is that you want them to do, book in a call with you, book a commission, hire you for a speaking engagement, whatever you want them to do, you can put a button. So I have mine to download my ultimate branding checklist, I think. You can have yours to do whatever you want to do. So number one, design your email signature. It's fun. It will take 15 minutes and your email signature will look so good so that when you're emailing like clients, wholesale people, people about speaking, like anyone who you want to like show off and look really good in your emails too, it will do that for sure. Okay, number 2, update your bio. Your bio, and I know that updating your bio is like something that people say to do all the time. You've maybe heard me say to do it before, but I just want to remind you that it is a super powerful branding tool for multiple reasons, and it's a really quick and easy way to upgrade and up-level your brand. So it communicates in multiple ways, like what your brand is all about. Communicates through what you write, but also visually. So you want to look at what your bio is right now, whether that's on Instagram or your website or wherever. I'm thinking about Instagram right now. So if you just get in the head of Instagram. So on Instagram, on your social medias, you want to make sure that your bio is easily scannable. So if someone is just scanning through, they're not reading properly, they can get kind of the key things about what you do from your bio. You want to make sure that it's clear. I think sometimes, especially with branding and with copywriting, people can get carried away with trying to be clever instead of clear. I know I can have a tendency to do that. I just love creative writing. And so you want to avoid doing that and make sure that it is clear as well as maybe a little bit clever, but make sure it's clear what you do, what you're all about, how people can work with you, that type of thing. And then you can use like on-brand emojis that use your brand colors as a really easy way to communicate your brand visually off the bat on your social media platforms. So I do that on mine. If you go to my social media profiles on Instagram and Threads and Twitter and all over the places, I'm using the orange heart emoji. I think I use like the lightning bolt and something else. But that orange heart emoji, especially, maybe the pink one also, I can't remember, but definitely the orange heart emoji is Holly and Maker and Moxie coded to the core. And so right off the bat, I am visually showing like, you think orange, you think Holly, you think Holly, you think orange. And I'm sending that signal, and I'm just reaffirming in people's mind and setting that up from the beginning that if they are seeing me for the first time, they're going, okay, Holly, orange. If they are seeing me for the 100th time, it's reminding them, yes, Holly likes orange. And Holly's brand color is orange. It's just a really easy way that you can reiterate your brand through your bio. And it's not just through the colors, it can be through the actual emojis themselves. Like, yeah, if you are associated with a certain thing, like skulls or I don't know, lightning bolts or something, you can use the emojis to really help communicate your brand as well. So have a look at your bio. Make sure that it's doing all those things. It's scannable, it's clear, it's using the emojis. Make it consistent across all the platforms wherever you can. Obviously, not all of them have the same amount of characters, but as consistent as you can. And yeah, spend like 15 minutes just looking at your brand, bios on all of the different platforms and seeing if you can update it. And yeah, it can be like a 15-minute activity, but when you update it, it can give your brand a whole new lease on life, and it can feel really good when you have a new bio. And it's something you can screenshot and share and be like, new bio unlocked. Maybe not that, but you can tell people I've got a new bio, check it out, come and see what I'm all about. Okay, number 3, make an image of your color palette. This is a quick cheat sheet. It's one of the easiest things that I think you can do if you haven't done already to help make your brand consistent on social media. Helps make your life easier, and it also helps make things look professional and like you are taking things seriously and thinking things through and going the extra mile on social media. So, as we know, one of the best ways to communicate your brand and to be memorable is through color. Color communicates your brand and makes your brand, it increases brand recognition by like 80%. So color is really important. One of the best ways to make your brand, like I said, seem put together and like you know what you're doing is to use those colors throughout everything you do, especially on social media. So that includes things like on your Instagram stories, making sure that like if you have a background to your text, that background is your brand color. And not just the colors on Instagram that Instagram gives you, but your exact colors. So what you want to do if you haven't already is create an image of your brand color palette that you keep pinned on your phone. So you can keep it in your favorites folder or in a specific brand folder that you create for yourself. That means that every time you go to create reels or stories or whatever it is that you're making, you can add it in, use the color dropper, and then you can make your text, your stickers, anything else on brand. And I don't know if this is like a little known fact, but people sometimes message me when I do it because they didn't know that you could. But you can make the question boxes, the polls, the everything, but mostly the question boxes people don't know that you can. You can make the question boxes colored too. They don't always have to be white. You can make them all different colors, and then you can use the color dropper as well, I'm pretty sure. Then if you want bonus points, so that's the colors. So just create the graphic, and then every time you want to create a post, create a story, add text, whatever, just drag in your image and then use the color dropper, and you can create all your things to be on brand and on using your colors. But then if you want bonus points, you can also create some backgrounds for Instagram stories too. You can keep those in a folder on your phone and then whip them out anytime you need to like create something else on Instagram stories. So I do this if I am creating an Instagram story that has a lot of text, or that I'm doing like a question poll or something and I don't want a photo in the background. I'll put one of my pre-made backgrounds behind it. I put it behind photos. I put them behind all sorts of things. You can create backgrounds for specific things. So I used to do like Q&A Friday, and I had a background for Q&A Friday. So you can have backgrounds for specific things, but even just some generic like patterned backgrounds, that's all mine are. I have like 8 of them, I think. A few of them are just the same but in different colors, so I can switch them up. But yeah, I just have a set of them, and it makes it really easy, on brand, and it looks like I am a professional and I know what I'm doing, and it's all cohesive and consistent. You can even like add your logos onto your phone so that you can add those in when you need them, and any other like brand elements that you have. If you have like illustrations or icons or like little blobs like I have, you might want to add those onto your phone. So these are things you could do to go the extra mile. So just make sure you have all your brand assets to hand on your phone so that it makes it easy for you to keep things consistent on socials. You could like, even if you really wanted to, make some stickers or GIFs that you could also keep on your phone, but that might take you a bit longer. So that was just a little bonus one. But yeah, Those are the main things. The color palette is the main one that really will only take you like 5 minutes. You can even like, I don't know, you could do that on Microsoft Paint. You could do that so quickly. You can do it in Canva, just draw some rectangles and export it. It will take you 5 minutes and put it on your phone, and then you'll be done. And it'll help you so much. Okay, number 4. We're only at number 4. So much good stuff already. Okay, number 4 is to create folders of reusable images and videos on your phone. You can do this one while Netflix plays in the background. I know for a fact because I sit all the time and organize the photos and videos on my phone because I have a ridiculous amount of photos and videos on my phone. I can't even tell you. We want to stop making content creation harder for ourselves and also make sure that we are, trying to help take our brand from hot mess to hell yes and make it feel and look like we have our shit together and we are posting somewhat consistently and posting things that are on brand and communicating what we want them to. And that is so much easier when we have a plan and we have things to hand and we're not like panic posting, right? And so a way to help you do that is to have these folders of images that you already have to use for you, to use in those moments. If you are anything like me, like I said, you probably have tens of thousands of photos and videos on your phone that could be working for you. So spend 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes going through your phone and seeing what could be used again. Then you can create folders on your phone, so create albums that you can find things when you need them. So you could create a folder of videos of you working, maybe a folder of work in progress sketches, or a folder of like packaging videos. You can split them up however you want. I have like a folder of B-roll videos. So that's like a folder of videos that I know that I can just pull from and put into Instagram Reels, that are just like general videos of me like doing kind of generic things like sitting down at my desk or working away or walking or like things like that are easy for me to just pop into a reel or pop behind some text or like that kind of thing, pop onto an Instagram story. And it's helped me so much. And it helps me to know that when I'm going to create something, I don't always have to create it from scratch. So just setting some time aside, taking 15 minutes, you could do like a little bit here and there. 15 minutes one week, 15 minutes another week, and just keep adding to these folders, and it will just help you over time. Okay, number 5 is to set up an email list sign up form. I'm betting that create an email list or maybe email my list more might be on your list of things to do. It's usually on most people's list. It's either like set up an email list or email my newsletter more. So I'm not telling you to go and like figure everything, all the things about your email list and your email newsletter out right now. I'm not telling you to go and create your email list and do all the things and set up all the automations or go and start emailing your list every week from now on. That's not what I'm trying to tell you to do. What I'm suggesting is to go and set up a way for people to join your list so that you can start gathering subscribers. I personally use ConvertKit, which is soon to be called Kit. And I can tell you that once you have signed up for free, by the way, it's free up until you have 10,000 subscribers. It takes 10 minutes to create a free form or landing page. So it doesn't have to be complicated, just like the email signature that I was talking about in the beginning. If you go into Kit or whatever email service provider that you want to use, just sign up, pick a template for a form or a landing page, or in ConvertKit, they also have a creator profile you could set up that you can use as a landing page. Pick one, pick a template, put in your colors, pick a font, and publish it. It should take like just over 10 minutes, maybe a little bit more, including like signing up and all of that stuff and writing some copy to say like, sign up and here's what you get and blah, blah, blah. But 10 minutes approximately, you can set up a landing page or a form and just start sharing that with people to start getting them to join your list. And yeah, as I said, not telling you to start emailing them or doing anything with it right now, but at least you can start gathering those people. You can just put it as a link in your bio. You can have the form at the bottom of your website or wherever, or as a link on your website navigation, wherever you want to put it. And you can just start gathering those people, because right now, without one, you're not gathering anyone. And if you want your brand to be a hell yes, then you want to have an email list that people can join so that they know there is an option for you to get in touch, and for them to stay up to date with all of your goodies if and when or whatever, they happen to not be able to follow you on Instagram anymore or whatever happens. You want to start gathering those people on email as soon as you can. Number 6 is to check the links in your bio. One of the biggest mistakes I see creatives make is not thinking about the experience that people have with their brand. And I have a whole article about brand experience, and I have a download that helps you audit your brand experience. So I will leave those links down below. But one of the key experiences that people will have with your brand right now is finding you on social media and then wanting to either find out more or take another action, right? Whether that's buying from you or booking in with you or emailing you or something. They want to do the next thing. What that experience is like is going to impact how people interact with you and view your brand in the future. So you want to make sure that that is a good, if not incredible and amazing experience. What you don't want is it to be bad, frustrating, annoying, or just like stops them in their tracks or anything like that. So spend some time. Go through this experience yourself and see what happens. Put yourself in the shoes of the people that you want to engage with you. So think about like, who are your clients, your customers, your ideal people, and what do they need from you? What would that next action be? So if you want people to buy your work, what is it that they need? They need a link to your shop, and they need that to be clear, right? So if they're clicking from Instagram, it needs to say like, visit my shop or buy my work or like something really clear. If you want people to reach out for speaking opportunities or to like for you to be on their podcast or something like that, I experience this all the time because I'm trying to find people to be on my podcast and I want to get in touch with them, and I can't because they don't have contact information anywhere. So do you want to be contacted? If you do, have that information there. If you want commissions, what do those people need? How is that experience getting from your Instagram to being able to book a commission from you? So have a look at that experience and update the links accordingly. You want to make sure that whatever links that are needed are there and that it's really clear what those actions are and what the links are. Don't have the links be really vague or confusing or like inside jokes or, like I said about clever copy before, you can be a little bit clever, but it needs to be clear. Like, I need to know that I'm going to your shop or that I can buy from you or that I can book in with you or whatever I'm doing. So have a look at the links, update the links in your bio, make sure that that experience is good and is easy for whoever is going through that experience. And again, that can be a pretty, hopefully, quick activity, is if you just sit down, spend 15 minutes just like going on Instagram and going like, what links do I have there? Some of them, like often I go and I'm like, oh, that's an old link for like a webinar that I hosted like a month ago that I need to take down, or like things like that. So have a look at that. I've been on a lot of artists' link in bios and they have like 30 links. And I'm like, too many. So many links. So confusing. Nobody needs that many links. You want to think like, okay, how do I make it easy for people to take the next step? Okay, number 7, create a template for one thing in your business. So instead of creating things over and over and over again, I want you to take 15 minutes to create a template. This is not only going to save you time going forward, but it is going to make things more consistent. This will make your brand feel professional, well thought through, and is going to establish expectations and trust with your audience, because they know they'll see that same graphic or that same template and they'll have seen it before and they'll go, oh, that's that thing, right? So say you have a series, they will know it's in the same series. If they've seen a graphic that you've posted for a sale before and then they see the same graphic but with like updated content, they'll be like, oh, they're running a sale again. So it helps to establish those expectations and build trust and all of those things, as well as obviously making it easier for you. So as I said, say that you have like a sticker club that you promote every month, you could create a template for that graphic. Or if you run a Patreon, you can create graphics that promote that every time that you post on Patreon. Or if you run a sale every quarter, create one for that so your audience knows what to look for. So when you go to create the template, you do not have to start from scratch. You've probably created something for this type of content before, right? Because you're thinking about creating a template for it. So use a design you've created before and think about how you would use it again going forward and turn that into a template in a few of your brand colors or in a few varieties so that you can kind of like change it up a little bit at least. Number 8, repurpose some previous content and start creating that habit. So instead of stressing and spending hours creating one piece of new content, take 10 minutes to pop into your feed and find a previous post that you could repurpose. This is a great way to save some time, reshare some content, make the most out of stuff that you spent time doing previously. And chances are not all of your audience saw it before. You've gained new people in your audience since then. And the people who did see it might appreciate seeing it again. It's a good reminder. So keep sharing stuff that you've created before. You put the time and the effort into it, you might as well get the most out of it. It's a shame when things like get created and you put so much heart and soul into them and then you only get used once. So definitely make the most of repurposing. And next time you schedule something in your social media scheduler, whether you use like Later or Buffer or whatever tool you might use. I'm using Metricooler right now. But if it is something that makes sense, like a piece of content that makes sense to be repurposed, that can be posted again in the future, that isn't like, only makes sense today, then also schedule a draft version for 3 to 6 months in the future so that you can repurpose it then. And future you will thank you because you've like already set up the repurposing. You've put what you've created to use again in the future, and you're setting up that repurposing habit. Number 9 is to find some of your you-isms. If you haven't heard of you-isms before, you're welcome. This is one of my favorite super quick ways to inject your personality into your brand, is to use you-isms. So when I say that, mine would be Holly-isms. Yours might be like Jess-isms or Ryan-isms, for example, whatever your name is, isms. So how you do this is to take some time to scroll through things that you've written. So it could be social media captions, messages, emails, client communications, whatever, voice notes even. So not even just things you've written, but it could be voice notes or transcriptions of meetings, etc. And note down things that you say all of the time. Could be words, could be phrases, could be memes. You can also ask your friends and your family, like, what are things that I say all the time that you notice that I say? These become your you-isms. These are your you-isms. This list then becomes a cheat sheet for injecting you into otherwise like boring or stale copy, or when you're feeling stuck, or when you're looking at a piece of copy that just doesn't feel right. So if you're writing a caption and you're like, oh, this just doesn't feel like me, or it doesn't sound right, or I'm just stuck on how to write this in a way that feels right, or it just feels good, you can look at your list of you-isms and go like, okay, if I added a few of these in, if I reworked it with some of these you-isms, me-isms, would it feel a little bit more like me? So that's what I would recommend, is giving it a go, setting aside 15 minutes and just scrolling through some of your stuff a little bit more if you want to go a little bit deeper, like I said, into like transcriptions and voice memos and comms with your clients or anything like that. But at least scroll through some of your social media posts and see if you spot any. That will definitely help. And last but not least is number 10, and that is to spend a little bit of time learning about the 8 design principles. In particular, there are 2 that I would love you to learn about. One of the best things you can do to help make things in your brand look a little bit more profesh is to learn some design fundamentals. I went to design school for 4 years and spent a lot of money to learn this stuff. And a lot of designers do, and they spend, a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of effort to learn this stuff. You don't have to do that. I'm telling you 8 of the 8 of the main things that underpin all of design. There are 8 principles. I will link another article that I wrote all about them, so you can learn about all of the 8 of them. But the main 2 that I see making things look messy are alignment and white space. So with alignment is like how things line up with each other, and it needs to be intentional so that each element on the page needs to line up with something, and that could be with the border or with another element on the page, with the margins, and if it doesn't line up with something, then it needs to be on purpose. So it might be aligned with a grid so that it's off center or it's off skewed, but it's on a grid, so it's on purpose. But when things are just slightly not aligned, it looks really messy, and that is how you can tell when things aren't done professionally, and when things don't look good. So when you align things well and they do line up with each other really well, then that's how you can very quickly make things look professional. And with text, you almost always want to left align your text. So make sure that they line up on the left-hand side and that they are not centered. This is because it's way easier to read. It's scientifically proven to be easier to read when text is left aligned, not justified, so not like spread out to both edges of the page, but left aligned, so aligned on the left. And when it comes to white space, I just often see that people don't leave enough white space. You often need more than you think. And white space helps give a design space to breathe. And that is often what makes something look a little bit more professional, is when there is more white space. Not always. And I don't necessarily mean just white. I just mean that there is space around the elements. There's not a hard and fast rule. Like I said, like there are a lot of maximalist designs and where there are a lot of things going on. But I just think in general, a lot of designs that I see that don't look professional and that look a bit messy is because there's just too much going on. There's too much on the page. There's too much like tried to be jammed in, and there's not enough space between elements, or between the elements on the page and the edge of the page. Like there's just, everything feels squished. And so you often just want to give everything a little bit more space to breathe than you think. So when you are maybe eating your lunch or next time you're scrolling on your phone, definitely have a read of that article and look up some other info on the 8 design principles, and in particular alignment and white space in design. It will make the world of difference when you understand and start to practice those design principles. Okay, so I've chatted for a long time today. I've given you 10 actionable steps to quickly take your brand from a hot mess to hell yes. Those were to design your email signature, update your bio, make an image of your color palette, create folders of reusable images and videos on your phone, set up an email list sign up form, check the links in your bio, create a template for one thing in your business, repurpose some previous content and start creating that habit, find your you-isms, and learn about the 8 design principles. So your action for this episode is to pick one of these actions and do it this week. So what I'm going to do for this episode is I'm going to create a checklist, and I'm going to leave a link to that in the show notes so that you can download this checklist and you can go through and work your way through this checklist, so that you can start taking some action towards actually finally taking your brand from hot mess to hell yes. So head down to the link in the show notes in the description and grab the checklist. And as always, please come and chat to me on Instagram or on Threads. Tag me in your Instagram story and tell me which one of these actions you're going to be taking this week. I would love to know. And I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Brand Your Passion. If you enjoyed this one, it would mean the world to me if you could share it on social media and make sure to tag me at Maker and Moxie so that I can see and share it too. It really does help to get the show out there, which means that we can all work towards that Maker and Moxie vision of making the world a more creative place, one brand at a time. Thanks so much in advance, and I will talk to you in the next one. Until then, keep creating.